What is up, y'all? Happy Friday, last day of the week and the last day of April. I hope that you're ready to end the week and end the month strong. We only have 1 month of school after this, which is kind of crazy to think about. This wild year for all of our students, whether you've been an in-person student or you've been a CDA student or you've been both at some point. This crazy school year is almost done. We have 1 month left, and it's really important that we make the most of that last month and don't waste it away. So we have no birthdays for today, which is very sad. No birthday shout outs. Michael Jordan is not very happy about that. However, some positive things. Reminder that middle school boys soccer open fields start on Tuesday, May 17th from 5 to 6:30. And then there's that Google Classroom code again for like the fifth time. I think this is going to be the last time that middle school boys soccer makes the announcements, as we've had it up several times so far for anyone who's interested. Middle school girls soccer, again, there's a mandatory meeting for current 6th and 7th grade girls who are interested in soccer. That is May 7th at 5:30 at Middle School South. All right, and we'll keep that one up for next week as well. Girls volleyball, open gym start June 14th at Middle School Central, 3:30 to 5. That is for current 6th and 7th graders, or those of you who are going to be 7th and 8th graders next year. And there's a Google Classroom code there as well. If you have more questions, Miss Bott and Miss Sabbath will be more than happy to help you out. All right, so we got a pretty good question Mr. Bryson and I did from Brooklyn. Brooklyn asks, would you rather always hit every red light for the rest of your life or always get slow internet after the sun goes down, and why? That's a really good question, a really good either or. Mr. Bryson says, bring on them red lights. I have a need for speed, internet speed. That's pretty well done there, Mr. Bryson. I would go with the opposite. I don't want to be stuck at every red light. That sounds terrible. I would easily go with slow internet after the sun goes down. I think that might even make my life better to not be able to be on the internet after the sun goes down and be able to spend more time with family or spend time doing other things like reading or other things like that I enjoy. So I would be perfectly fine with slow internet after the sun goes down, but hitting every red light, that would probably raise my blood pressure quite a bit and be unhealthy for me. So if I had to pick, I would go with the slow internet. All right, we have quite a few shout outs for today. Student shout outs. This is from Solomon. He says, I would like to shout out Cassidy Fannin because she's so cool and awesome and smart and strong. And she definitely didn't make me do this. That's funny. So shout out from Solomon. And then Jalen and Jaquan for showing kindness and checking on others. That one's from Mr. Bryson. And he kind of told me about Jalen and Jaquan and what they did yesterday and checking on another student. That was really very kind. Talk about being a pro. That's what we're looking for. So great job to the two of you. And then some student shout outs from Miss Hoberman. Zariah Hopkins for donating some books to our classroom library. That's awesome. Jackson for pushing in other students' chairs after class. Thank you, Jackson, very much for doing that and making sure our classrooms are safe. And then Janelle for picking up trash in the hallway after school. That's awesome, too. That's taking ownership of your environment. So way to be pros, those of you who got shout-outs from Miss Hoberman. We also had quite a few staff shout-outs. One is from Terry. He says, thank you, Miss Adonetto, for always getting us McDonald's when we earn our class money. And thank you for always getting us Christmas gifts and showing you care. Even though some years you have challenging students, you always rise above. And that's from Terry. That's awesome, Terry. Great job. Miss Adonetto is obviously a very caring person in our building, and we love having Miss A here. I would like to shout out the Taylor Swift cutout for inspiring me to get out of Mr. Scud's class. That's from Ethan. Ethan, that's funny. And then this is a shout out to Mr. Scuds from me. Mr. Scuds, you cannot force kids to give you shout outs. You can't tell kids that they're going to be in trouble if they don't give you shout outs on the announcements. All right. Another staff shout out. This one's from Mr. Bryson. He says this is from This is for Ms. Kuhn, Mitchell, Slack, and Mr. Woodson for calm teamwork and composure with students always being first. And I very much appreciate that with our staff, that whatever our staff is doing, it's always with students in the role of the priority. And then we want to recognize Ms. Adornetto, someone who is extremely thoughtful and caring. She goes out of her way to make not only her students feel special and appreciated every day, but her aides and fellow coworkers as well. She never lets us walk out of the door at the end of a workday without telling us how grateful she is for all we do. And who can deny her infectious laugh and hilarious wit? I will second that. Thank you, Miss A, for being such an amazing person, coworker, teacher, and more importantly, friend. And that is from Mrs. Bogus and Mrs. Sword. Very well done, both of you, and a special shout out for Miss A. All right, remember, if you have shout outs for either staff or students, or questions like Brooklyn did. Brooklyn, that was a good one today. You can share those with myself or Mr. Bryson. All right, a couple of reminders of expectations. One of them is one we talked about yesterday. Make sure that you're reporting directly to your focus class. I'm going to add on to that and say make sure you're reporting directly to all of your classes. There's no reason that students should not make it to their class in 3 minutes. We've been gracious, knowing that with the hallways only being one way, it might take students a little bit of time. But I went in the hallway yesterday and I clocked it and walked all the way around the building in just about 2 minutes during a hallway change. So there's no reason for any student not to make it to class in 3 minutes. We're not allowing you to use the restroom between classes, so that's not an excuse. So moving forward, I've directed staff to submit office referrals for students who are chronically tardy. So if you are frequently late to class, staff, I am directing you to submit office referrals for those students after you call home and give the parents a warning that, hey, these kids not making it to class on time. There's really no excuse for that. So make sure the students that you are getting where you need to be when you need to be there. And that is it. Make sure that you are a pro today on this beautiful Friday, last day of the week, last day of the month. Positivity, respectfulness, and ownership. And looking through those shout outs for both students and staff, it's evident to me that a lot of us are doing this and having great days and are going to lead to more successful days in the future. So happy Friday to you. Have a fantastic Friday. And as always, it is great to be a cruiser.